I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Yes, it's here, the CineEye from Geprc. It's on the channel. Look at it. Isn't it cute? They come in like 5 different colors. Let me show you the canopies. Red, clear, smoke, and green. You also get a strap, some zip ties, and a screwdriver in the box. You also get some 1.6-inch props in the box. Those are Geprc branded. They are push-on props, quad props, and they also have 2 options for bolts there. 2 bolts can go through the very top, which is nice. You get stickers and a support card, geprc.com/downloads. You have a 79mm wheelbase on this bad boy. And I added a strap on mine because I can't stand those little plastic cages. QC sticker, always nice to see on a Geprc quad. It has 1102 10,000 kV motors on this one. Pretty durable prop guards. And I tucked my receiver in underneath this battery cage. And there is a receiver tray on the back as well. I just have my one single antenna coming out the back. Cadex baby turtles on here, 800 TVL, 1080p at 60 frames per second, which is nice. 1.8mm turbo eye lens on here as well. Plenty of tilt and camera protection, looks good. Nice durable top plate and canopy. We also have a 5.8 200mW VTX on here, which is nice. F4 12 amp ESCs in this stack, and at the very top of that stack on the 3rd layer up is the Cadex turtle. In the back here we have the DVR start stop button, and up front you have an SD card slot. No app is needed for the baby turtle, which is super sweet. And we also have a dipole antenna in the back, which seems to be pretty durable. It did hold up during the flight test, which is good news. And there's that battery tray back there. I just have my antenna running out the back right there. Maytech F411 firmware on the Betaflight board, which is nice and smooth. Plug and play motors as well, no solder design. If you blow out a motor, you can just plug a new one in, which is sweet. Let's go ahead and get a dry weight on it. That means without the battery. Just gonna set the quad on the scale, see what we get. 54 grams, not bad. That's with the props and the strap. Now let's go ahead and put the 3S 450 milliamp under 100 grams, 95 grams, not bad. Let's do some flying. All right, let's go ahead and do the FPV flight test. The Geprc CineEye HD, it's finally here. I saw it come out a few weeks ago and I was super excited to see Geprc put it on their Facebook page because I knew that this one was going to be fun indoors or outdoors, and the power system on here was looking big enough to be able to handle some mild freestyle, and with the right tune on the flight controller, that's pretty much what we have here, is something that can handle a little bit of freestyle. It has very minimal washout, which is great. It has a good punch out and boost, and it has enough power to be able to handle itself coming back down. It doesn't bottom out a lot, which I like. A lot of the tiny whoops kind of bottom out like that. They'll hit the ground, don't have enough motor power or strength in the motors to bring the quad back up before you bounce and crash. And sometimes the accelerometers will get thrown off and they'll automatically go into a death roll. But this one's really neat because you can bump off things. It didn't freak out. I was able to put it in Acro mode and even do some tree canopy exploring in Acro mode. And here I'm getting super tight, looking for a way out. Just, oh my gosh, just barely, not quite, almost made it. That would have been an awesome video. It's pretty good up until then. But if you want to do that, and there I just hit the ground, we're gonna go ahead and reset, and let's get back up in the air. Let's try that in stability mode this time. Let's go ahead and, whoops, I flipped the wrong switch. I flipped the disarm switch. Have you ever done that? That's pretty awesome. But the prop guards protect the props pretty well, so most times you crash in the grass, you can just take back off, which is really nice. So now I'm in stability mode. Let's see how well I can do some tree exploring in stability mode. And it's a little darker there on the Cadex 1080p at 60 frames per second than the FPV view. So that branch stuck me right in the face. But I could really see where I was going with that Cadex camera. It looks a little darker on the DVR footage. But instability, it is super fun because all you're doing is pretty much controlling your throttle and steering. And you don't have to worry about your axis balance. like you do in Acro mode. Just made it out the top there, so I'm gonna do a little victory lap around the top of the tree here. Maybe I'll climb a little higher. These 80-foot evergreens are super fun, and since this has a full range receiver on it, I can go all the way to the top, check out the skyline a little bit. It's about 3 o'clock now, so it seems like the sun starts to set about this time of year. Around 3 to 4 it starts getting dark already. It's crazy. But back down low to the ground, just a little bit of light adjustment on the Cadex camera. Again, testing out the prop guards. I did get one crack in the prop guards. That's one little beef that I had with this particular frame, but all of the frames that I've had, all of the ducted frames that I've had with prop guards from Geprc have not ever broke on me. The CineStyle, the CineQueen, man, look at that. Power loop around the branch. That's some fun little proximity freestyle. And you notice it didn't wash out when I did that power loop. That's pretty good for a whoop for this particular tune. I couldn't freak the flight controller out. And I just barely did have a little bit of washout with this quad a few times. Some really high throttle maneuvers. So now I've got it on the lighter battery, which is my 3S 450 milliamps. It's going to get you about 3 minutes flight time. If you want to do freestyle, that's going to be your freestyle battery. For a cruising battery, I'm going to recommend you guys get the 3S 650 milliamp battery. That's going to be the one that's going to really give you a nice long, probably about 4.5 minute flight time if you're just cruising around the park doing exploratory FPV. So here, back around these branches, super fun. Now for another power loop. Didn't quite time that one right. I'm gonna have to go back and try that again. Now for another try, see if we can get a power loop around the branch. Nice. This is a really fun little quad to fly. Plenty of power. So it has two things going for it so far. It has a nice, fun, like stress-free, mild freestyle. And then the other side of it is slowing it down in stability mode and doing some tree exploration. Some canopy flying, which is always fun. There's some ghost branches right there. And turtle mode also works. I did test turtle mode. So good news is turtle mode works great, even in grass. The prop guards are awesome. So now I've got my 3S 650 Explorer battery on here, and we're just gonna go cruising and exploring. I love flying along this fence right here. They have some kind of a garden over here. I'm just gonna fly down a little further here until my VTX starts to get a little bit choppy right there and I'm turning around. And now I'm deciding which way I want to go through here. It looks like the Ewok village should be somewhere around here. Did you guys see the Star Wars movie over Christmas? I did. It was pretty good. A lot of plot twist in that Star Wars. But low to the ground, way up high, mild freestyle. Definitely a fun quad, and the quality's there too, so if you're looking for a whoop that's not a cheap piece of crap, this is probably gonna be that whoop for whoop season. A decent indoor or outdoor quad. And still looking for those gaps that I can find along the way. Just gonna cruise down here along the sidewalk, and I'm gonna cut back in to my right over here, go back into the park, down the path. And it feels like you're going really fast, but this little guy does less than like 10 miles an hour on just a slow cruise. And you can make it go faster if you want to tilt the camera up. It'll do probably 35 miles an hour pretty easy. I like to pull a big power loop around that whole basketball court with a whoop. One of these days, maybe I will. If they ever release an angry enough power system on a whoop, that'd be incredible. I like to be able to try that on a 5-inch. Gonna watch out for the dogs here. So it's a pretty smooth tune on here. I think that they've done a good job as far as the overall package. And this is what I was expecting, guys, from Geprc on this one. They've been releasing all these larger 3-inch Cinewhoops and The Bumblebee is coming out. The Taycan from Diatone. I've got the Flywoo Crasher coming. So we're gonna review all of the larger style whoops as well with 4K video on them. And you can put a GoPro on those, or you can fly the DJI version. Some of the companies have analog and DJI versions. But this one, you don't have to worry about having DJI goggles. It's still an analog system. Fly it with your Fat Sharks or whatever. I'm going to try to scoot through here. That's awesome. That's what I love about this quad. And here are some ghost branches, but still made it through. It's amazing what you can get away with these little smaller size frames. That's what I like about that smaller quad, is that you can slow it way down on the less windy days and do some exploring like this. This is amazing. That is super cool. It's getting a little dark over there, so I'm going to turn around and come back. This time I'm not flying back through the canopy because I don't want to. I'm just on my last battery here, and I don't really want to get it stuck in a tree. I've had these treed about 70 feet up, and it's not fun because you can't see these little guys, but they don't get stuck too often. Most of the time they fall all the way down. So I'm going to come back in for a landing and see if I can make it on my pad, my landing pad. I did. That was crazy. That was awesome. So let's go ahead back into the studio now, guys. Okay, so we're back from the flight test, and I have to say that I actually had a lot of fun with this quad. And when they first came out, I got really excited because I was like, wow, they look like lifesavers, and they're all different colors, and they're small format, and they're recording 1080p. They have a nice power system on here. It's bringing me back to a couple winters ago when we were running 1102s with these smaller size props. And Geprc is one of those companies that it's not shifty on the quality control, which is great. So when you're buying a whoop, you want to make sure that you're getting something that's not going to fry when you plug in a battery. The props work out of the box, which is also kind of nice. The dipole survived, didn't pop off. The UFL connector never came off. I didn't have to hot glue it down. I like that they also do pretty strong QC on their stuff. Their frames are probably some of the more durable frames in there. The strap is probably the one thing that I would change. If I was Geprc, I'd add a strap on there instead of the battery cage, because it constricts you to one type of battery. Around the 3S450 will fit that size. If you try to put the 650 on there, it would be too small of a cage. So really that's the only thing that I can think of that I'd change. It's durable. The QC is high. It flies fun. You get a variety of canopies with it. I think everything that comes in the box for the value is pretty decent, and I never have to worry about it flying good. That's the biggest thing. The tune on it's nice. It flies good. It's versatile. So I think it's a pretty high scoring quad. This one scores really, really high with me. Guys, take care. I'm Justin Davis, and I'll see you on the next one.